Curling isn't just for seniors. Thanks to the Olympics, it's cool in every sense of the word. On today's show, photography takes flight. Then one Pemberton volunteer patches together goodwill.
The project Quilts for Africa, it really has taken a life of its own, and we hope to contribute to this project for many years to come.
And linking together sleds with safety.
SledLink combines information and resources that we think are important.
It's the mechanics of community. Join us for the Express. Welcome to the Express on Shaw TV. I'm your host, Nicole Fitzgerald, and today we're looking at mechanics. The mechanics of curling, quilting, and photography. Who knew having the skill of being able to make a mini helicopter would come in handy when working in the photography industry?
You may think we've entered the home of a mad scientist, but this is the studio of commercial photographer Andrew Duran. His latest technique of taking interesting aerial images has to be approved by Transport Canada every time.
The type of work I'll be doing with this is low-level aerial photography that you can't do from a full-size helicopter because you can't get low enough. Use it for real estate and for developers. We shoot balcony views for buildings that haven't been built yet.
Andrew is on the cutting edge of photography technology and its possibilities. An architectural photographer by trade, he gets the chance to shoot some magnificent buildings and places.
Our surroundings affect our life, and so I think that beautiful buildings and beautiful places to be really affect how we behave there. So when I see something that's inspiring, that inspires me to want to photograph it.
But where he lives in Squamish, BC, can often be inspiration enough.
I worked on an awesome project for Microsoft Search Engine Bing, and it was great because I was able to showcase Squamish. I suggested that there was a music festival coming up, and if they wanted to shoot something, that I might be able to do that for them. And we hardly got any sleep the whole weekend, but it was a great experience and a really challenging and fun project to put together.
The commercial got exposure to over 15 million people when it aired during the NFL broadcast. Andrew can never stop working. Since he got his first camera, aged 8, he's always been a photographer.
I'm of the philosophy that a photographer isn't necessarily something to become, it's something that you are or not. You see beauty in places that most people would overlook or not notice. Sometimes it feels like a bit of a curse, because if you're walking without a camera and you see something, then you're kicking yourself for not having one with you.
Andrew moved to the West Coast in '94, inspired by the mountains and the ocean. Squamish is the subject of some of his most recent landscape photography.
And I love shooting around home. I love finding things that are interesting near where I live. This is a beautiful place. I'm not motivated by hoping that people will see it and see a great photo. That's not really what I'm trying to communicate with that stuff. It's more a little bit of, this is the way I see the world. I hope you like it.
Imagine finding beauty in everything you see. Andrew has an amazing ability to highlight Squamish's beauty, both natural and industrial. In Squamish, this is Dee Raffo for The Express.
Check out one of my favorite photos entitled Perfect Storm. Visit andrewduran.com. Curling is getting quite the reputation in Squamish these days. It's young, it's hip, and you can drop in to try it out anytime every Friday night here at the House Sound Curling Centre in Squamish. Another happening place? A shipping container in Pemberton. Goods are piling up, destination Africa.
Myself, I have a very nice life, and to be able even just to provide a quilt to somebody, it'll actually be the difference between being warm or cold on a winter's night. It's a nice feeling.
Each stitch brings Rotary of Pemberton Centennial member Liz Kelly one step closer to the club's goal of filling a shipping container with much-needed goods destined for Lesotho, Africa.
Lesotho is actually 1,000 meters above sea level, so it gets really cold in the winter, and they really do need blankets.
Liz made the trip this past April to see the need for herself. And now the Quilts for Africa project is branching out to more than just quilts.
What hit home for us is when there was a measles epidemic in Missouri. They were constantly running out of just simple syringes. They were running out of the vaccination. There just wasn't enough medical supplies of any kind.
Medical supplies have been added to the list, and to turn these much-needed goods into reality, the Rotary Club is having a fundraiser dinner on Friday, February 4th at the Pemberton Legion.
The project Quilts for Africa, it really has taken a life of its own, and we hope to contribute to this project for many years to come.
We've got everything. We've got Gore-Tex.
Liz Scroggins will be joining Liz Kelly on the October trip to this AIDS HIV-stricken area. Needing to raise $15,000 to get the container to sea, they have a lot of worthwhile work ahead, but no shortage of generosity.
Arthur from Whistler Blackcomb donated 500 of the used ski school and mountain uniforms to our cause as well.
Liz was deeply touched by a young boy she met whose life was tragically affected by HIV. Fortunately, he has a new family and now a Pemberton-made quilt.
The children that we met, that we know, have no parents, that are, don't even have grandparents sometimes. You just want to help. And to be able to go back every year and have the opportunity to help them, I know it sounds, but I mean, it's a gift to me more than to them, for sure. That's where they have aloe vera plants that are huge.
The passion that these two Pemberton women have for Africa is having a positive impact in a place where it is so desperately needed. In Pemberton, I'm Jessica Turner for The Express.
Join the Hockey Night fundraiser on Friday, February 4th at the Pemberton Legion. You can catch the Canucks games while munching on some veggies donated by North Arm Farm. The Howe Sound Curling Club is celebrating 25 years of rocking it, making way for the next generation.
The Olympics raised the profile of curling quite a bit. Post-Olympics, we had groups coming out from all over the country and in Squamish. Because they saw it on TV, they saw how good the Canadians did, and then they wanted to come out and play the game.
All the way from Whistler, why did you come out tonight?
There's a league that's set up for sort of young people. We've come in every week since October. We enjoy it, so we come every week.
Basically, we have set leagues during the week. Tuesday nights is always just ladies' league. Wednesday is men's league. Thursday is mixed leagues. So the drop-in curling is Friday night only. Starts at 7 o'clock, and we always have instructors down here to do instructions.
Any tips for newcomers?
Apparently you have to extend your back leg or else you'll go all crooked down the ice, so that's what I gotta work on.
We have rubber grippers to put on your shoes so that we don't allow outside shoes on the ice.
What do you find the most challenging part of the sport?
It's really hard to hit the house. I mean, that's definitely the hardest part. It's fun to smash the rocks out, but that's the easy part. Getting in the house takes a little bit more skill, but it's really rewarding when you do it.
It's just very sociable. You shake hands after a game, and then you usually go in and discuss the game in a social atmosphere.
This sport definitely has style, just like our next story. Still to come, a traditional pastime wraps up a modern mode of transportation.
All the bark comes from trees that were cut down for progress.
And what should you know before heading out on your snowmobile into the backcountry?
The most important thing is to have a plan and to be prepared. You can't just come up and go wherever you want. You need to have some knowledge about the terrain that you're going in.
Community programming on Shaw has been generously sponsored in part by Artina's handcrafted Canadian jewelry, 387 Water Street in Gastown and Government Street in Victoria.
The 2011 Canadian Direct Insurance BC Men's Curling Championship is live on Shaw. The best men's curlers of BC are set to battle it out in Vernon with a spot in the Nationals on the line. Tune in Saturday, February 12th at 7:30 p.m. Pacific for the semifinal, and on Sunday, February 13th at 3 p.m. Pacific for the final, to see the best of BC battle it out for the provincial crown.
We're there to bring it home. Shaw TV, your local voice. Local, 24/7. News, events, connected, current, information, personalities, entertainment, sports, interviews, weather. Only on Shaw TV.
Welcome back to the Howe Sound Curling Club in Squamish. I'm your host, Nicole Fitzgerald, and you're watching The Express. Today, we're going to introduce you to a new segment on the show, a spotlight on the Squamish-Lil'wat Cultural Centre. We're pleased to welcome our new ambassador, Roxy Lewis.
Welcome to the Squamish-Lil'wat Wool Culture Centre. I'm Roxy here at Whistler's Aboriginal Museum. So today we're going to be going over some of our featured exhibits, starting off with Forest One, a cedar-wrapped car that also incorporates other reclaimed materials.
The forest inspired the project. All the bark comes from trees that were cut down for progress, so they were all things that were going to the dump. Many of the things, plastic strapping that I took off of boxes, I became very interested in all types of trash and what we mean when we say that, and how we treat other people as disposable, especially our elderly.
The cedar is important to the Squamish people and the Lil'wat people, and we use the cedar, it's sacred to us, and we use it from birth to death. She's combined many different types of materials, and I know all of her materials that she used are reclaimed.
My whole life I've been a weaver. This particular piece, I started collecting the bark in 2004, and I kept collecting until last year, so it took a number of years, and the actual weaving took a little over a year. It's a prayer for the forest to return, for sustainable lifeways to return, and that we can have the good things of progress, but we can also have them in a way that's less greedy.
The one thing I admire about Forest One is that it incorporates more than one weaving style technique from many cultures. Our next exhibit, Squamish Ochumeo, Our People, Our Places, incorporates archival photos of Squamish Nation members. They're going to see photographs from 2 to 3 generations ago of the Squamish lands and how it was there. And I don't know, some of the pictures that you may see are of our people, maybe certain events that happened throughout that time, like maybe a powwow or something. They come from the Squamish Nation and North Vancouver Museum and Archives. The picture on the right, the gentleman on the left corner, that's my great-grandfather, Chatsalano, from my mother's side. He's very well known throughout the Squamish Nation. He was one of our chiefs. And there's a couple books written about and with him. And that's where I got quite a bit of my teachings, because he had stories and teachings from around first contact, when I guess the settlers first came here.
The historical photo exhibit will be showing until the end of March. Curling is gaining popularity here at the Howe Sound Curling Centre. You can drop in every Friday night and throw a couple of rocks.